Hello everyone, we are the wonderful co-researchers of Blackpool's Health Determinants research collaboration.
We work on projects on Blackpool HDRC.
In this video we are going to share our experiences as co-researchers.
We hope you enjoy.
We are now going to share some reflections on how being part of co-research has been transformative and has led to wider opportunities.
Hello, my name's Sandra. I'm a co-researcher working for Blackpool Researching Together. I was recently involved in a project called CHILL, Cosy Homes in Lancashire. CHILL started in 2014 and it was a warmer home scheme across Lancashire. And the aim was to reduce fuel poverty, improve EPC ratings and reduce carbon emissions. We focused on Blackpool because that's where we're based. I worked on CHILL with an officer from the CHILL project, an academic researcher and myself. And we all had an equal say and we were all involved in the planning and the development of the project. My role was, one of my roles was to interview the participants. So there were letters sent out to participants. Some were eligible but hadn't applied, and some had already applied for the scheme but maybe not been successful or not completed it. So we wanted to know why. Statistics show that Blackpool has 19.7% of households in fuel poverty, and yet there's been a very poor uptake on the scheme. So part of our research was to look at this and look at the reasons why. So by interviewing residents and households that were eligible or had started the scheme, we could find out their reasons from themselves, which was really important to get it from themselves. So the evidence that then will be used for further feedback to the schemes and to look at why people maybe aren't applying. We got a lot of good information and suggestions from the participants, so that was all be put into a report and fed back, and hopefully improve things and take up for the future on other schemes.
Hi, my name's Sharon, and I was lucky enough to be involved as a co-researcher on a project dear to my heart called Let's Talk Menopause and Wellbeing. The project concentrated on women's experiences of menopause and the potential impacts on their mental health. As a society, we are really good at bottling things up, and this project allowed women to be able to express their thoughts and feelings around menopause. My desire to be part of the steering group and be fully involved in the project stemmed from my own experience, my lived experience going through menopause. The project's intentions were to gather insights from 3 different sources. So we looked at the women's perspective and how menopause has affected them potentially with their mental health. And then we looked at professionals, and in particular medical professionals, and we looked at family and family friends who again may have been impacted by knowing somebody going through the menopause. The aim of the project was to gain understanding of the aspects of menopause, particularly on mental health, and whether treatments or care treatments had gained the person experiencing menopause any relief. They were looking also at whether professionals had enough knowledge and training around menopause to provide that care for women in Blackpool. And we also hope to gain an understanding of how loved ones can be affected through knowing somebody going through the menopause. The project deliberately sought to co-produce and co-design with people with lived experience of menopause, including myself. And we did surveys and questionnaires. They were compiled, and then we did focus groups in particular areas. So we chose like the council office, we chose community centres, churches. We went to a group that supported women post-cancer treatment, and we went to a workplace just to gain an overall view from different women's perspectives. There was a WhatsApp group that was formed from some of the women that had been to the focus group, and that's still ongoing, which is a really good ripple effect of the project. And just as I've really enjoyed being part of the menopause project, and it's really given me confidence when I'm going forward with other projects. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Emily, a youth co-researcher at Blackpool Researching Together.
And I am Matthew, one of the co-researchers and co-research champion for Blackpool Researching Together. And we're here today to talk about Street Life, a wonderful Blackpool organisation that helps 16 to 25-year-old people who are going through multiple complex needs, mental health concerns, and are homeless in the community. So we got invited with the Bridge Research Network as well as the NHS, who were delivering some training around creating research champions from those community members who are accessing the service. So we went along for the last 3 sessions, I believe, and we were there basically to promote what Blackpool Researching Together does, some opportunities they could get involved in, things like that. Had wonderful conversations discussing what types of research they're actually interested in from a community level, which specifically were around youth mental health services and support. Since then, they've actually worked collaboratively with both of us to form their own research question and put in an application for seed funding.
Hello, my name's Siobhan and I was a co-researcher for Blackpool Researching Together. Before joining BRT, I was a stay-at-home mum. I had no formal qualifications, and I often felt like those opportunities were out of reach. But that changed when I stepped into the role of a community researcher. So for me, BRT was more than just a project. It was a turning point. Being part of the team, it gave me confidence and potential that I actually didn't know that I had. I was listened to, I felt valued and also encouraged. And that belief in me, it absolutely sparked something. And I began to see my own potential. And with that newfound confidence, I took a leap and returned to education. And I'm now actually in my 2nd year of my degree, something I never imagined to be possible before this experience. The impact of BRT didn't stop there. Inspired by the power of community and the importance of giving vulnerable people a voice, I went on to start my own family group in my local area. It's the 2nd most deprived ward within the country, and every week we can welcome up to 40 people, and we just offer that safe space really, where we offer a meal and just where they can connect and just be free and just safe. So I am proud to say, following on from the co-researcher, I was offered the role of the engagement officer for my area, and that role actually allows me to make a real change where it matters most. And I truly believe none of this would have been possible without Blackpool Researching Together. This journey has shown me the power of community-led research and what can happen, when people are actually just given a chance, ultimately, given a chance, given a voice to just learn and be themselves and offer the value of lived experience. It's powerful. So yeah, really, really positive and grateful. Thank you.
Hello, I'm Matthew, one of the co-researchers for Blackpool Researching Together, also known as Blackpool HDRC. So I started my co-research journey as just a standard co-researcher until about 6 or 7 months in. Became a co-research champion, which had a lot more responsibilities, a lot more fun, a lot more trials and tribulations as well that are wonderful to work through. As for my individual, changes throughout that time, at the start, I was quite a critical person of what we're doing, very, very antagonistic in some ways, but for good reasons, at least I thought at the time. And I think that one of the most important reflections I've had since then is actually that the process that we work with is not only complicated and messy and a bit chaotic, but it is just how the processes work. It's not so much we had no clue what we were doing when we started, but more so that this is just how things play out. As well, one of the more interesting reflections that I have on my personal journey is also on the academic side. So I'm not only employed as a lived experience co-researcher, but I also have an academic background. And so far, it's been really, really interesting to dive more into that world specifically, because there's a lot of different attachments with the university, Lancaster University, obviously our partner in this collaboration effort. And as well, I always think that some of the most interesting and beautiful points of Blackpool's progression with co-research has been shown through some of our co-researchers who have actually left now to do other and greater things in some ways. So Siobhan, obviously, one of our co-researchers, now works in Claremont, servicing her community. Really inspiring story.
If you would like to hear more from us, please get in touch at hdrc@blackpool.gov.uk.